Having crossed the boundaries of the universe to establish their first contact with the Galactic Federation, humans were now facing an unexpected trial. The galactic laws, designed to maintain interplanetary balance, were strict and ruthless. Earth was accused of disrupting ecosystems on several planets through its mining activities. The Federation's charge was clear: humanity was a species that ravaged resources, and the punishment for this crime was severe. They were to be sentenced to galactic slavery. The courtroom was immense, with an oppressive, cold atmosphere that weighed heavily on the humans present. The ceiling stretched as high as the sky, and the walls were covered in a shimmering metallic gray. At the center of the room stood a small podium reserved for the human representatives. Around them were beings from various planets, watching intently, waiting for the trial of humanity to unfold. Leading the defense was Conrad, a tall, sharp-eyed man. Despite his youth, his intelligence and determination were enough to rival the most experienced lawyers in the galaxy. Beside him stood Miriam, a scientist with a more modest appearance, but the fire in her eyes and the knowledge she carried in her mind were humanity's last hope for salvation. As the trial began, one of the judges spoke. The judges were selected from the wisest members of various alien species, all of whom gazed down upon humanity with disdain. Judge Zyril, tall and clad in a sleek metallic armor, spoke in a grave tone. "Humans," he began slowly, "you have brought about the downfall of many planets by disrupting the balance of a universe. Our laws are clear. The price for this crime is your enslavement." Conrad stepped forward, his voice firm. "These accusations are part of a baseless execution. Humanity did not act with the intent to harm the universe. We have evidence to refute your claims, but to condemn us without a fair hearing defies the very spirit of justice." Proving humanity's impact on ecosystems was no easy task. But Miriam had something else, a piece of evidence that could change everything. Scientific data showing that humanity's destruction was not as severe as the Federation claimed. The research on Earth's ecosystem and its relationships with other planets told a different story. Still, they were waiting for the right moment to present this to the court. However, the galactic bureaucracy was relentless, constantly throwing obstacles in Conrad and Miriam's path. Every attempt to present their evidence was met with another legal objection. Zyril, fixing Conrad with a steely gaze, said, "You are not as ancient as the other species in this universe. Your knowledge and culture have yet to mature. You violated the Federation's laws, and now you must face the consequences." Meanwhile, murmurs spread among the spectators. Representatives from other planets whispered amongst themselves, discussing humanity's fate. Most were not in favor of the humans. Yet a few sensed that a decision made without fair trial could lead to dangerous consequences. Conrad took a deep breath and spoke again. "Humanity is not as cruel or selfish as you believe. We respect the universal laws, and we believe that justice exists within this Federation. But no decision can be made without examining the evidence we've provided," he said. His confidence was starting to catch the attention of some in the crowd. Conrad was fighting to ignite a glimmer of hope. Zyril, ever composed, turned to Conrad. "Time is running out for humanity," he said coldly. "This court is guided not just by evidence but by the balance between species. Humanity has disrupted that balance." Hours passed in the court where humanity's fate was being decided. Conrad and Miriam, despite facing new obstacles at every turn, refused to give up. The courtroom grew colder and gloomier with each passing moment. Representatives of the Federation were using every trick in the book to strengthen the accusations against humanity, trying to push the court toward a swift punishment. Zyril, the judge on the panel, constantly kept his eyes on Conrad and Miriam. With each new defense, a flicker of irritation appeared in his gaze, though he tried not to show it. "Enough!" Zyril's voice rang out sharply. "The evidence you've presented is nothing more than a delay tactic. Humans have caused destruction to every planet they've touched. The universal laws are clear. Species that harm others are a threat to all." Conrad, calm and composed, responded, "Honorable Court, the evidence we've presented must be thoroughly examined. The ecological disruptions you claim are not solely the result of human activity. These disruptions are part of natural processes and other factors." A question began to form in Miriam's mind. Why was the Federation so quick and harsh in their judgments against humanity? Were they hiding something? As the trial progressed, one of the Federation's prosecutors, Ravorn, took the floor. Ravorn was a short but intense-looking alien. His small frame belied the weight and confidence of his words. "In this court, it's not just about the ecosystems of planets, but the security of species," Ravorn said, staring at Conrad. "Humans are a threat not just to their own world, but to others. Your wars, your technology, they're dangerous to all of us." As Ravorn's words echoed through the courtroom, a wave of unease spread among the spectators. Many representatives nodded in agreement. Conrad and Miriam knew they had to dismantle the mountain of accusations piling on humanity, but each passing moment made their task harder. Miriam hesitated for a moment, but then gathered the courage to speak. "Ravorn," she said calmly, "it's true that humanity has experienced wars. But conflicts have occurred among all species. We're merely trying to survive and continue our existence. Who's to say other species wouldn't have taken similar paths in our place?" Ravorn responded with a mocking smile. "Humans always justify themselves this way. But the truth is, you fight not for peace but for dominance. Even the evidence you've submitted shows that clearly." Miriam didn't let his deceitful attitude go unchallenged. "We know that the data we possess can reveal the true source of the ecological damage, and it's not from human activities, as you claim." The court was adjourned for a month. Conrad and Miriam decided to stay at a Federation hotel, considered to be a safe place, while they worked on gathering additional evidence for their defense. Once they arrived at the hotel, they began to feel as if Federation agents were watching them. As Conrad wandered through the hotel corridors, he instinctively sensed something was wrong. "They're watching us," he told Miriam. Miriam nodded. "I think the assassins could strike at any moment. If the Federation can't silence us in court, they'll resort to other means." Together, they decided to slip out through the hotel's back door and find a safer place. But their movements had already caught the attention of the assassins. They were being followed. As Conrad and Miriam entered a narrow alley, 2 Federation agents suddenly appeared in front of them. Conrad quickly tried to step back, but more agents were closing in behind them. "We're cornered," Conrad said, gritting his teeth. Miriam fixed her eyes on the narrow alley's potential escape routes. "Plan B," she whispered. Conrad nodded and swiftly moved into action. Miriam pulled a small flash device from her bag and threw it on the ground to distract the assassins. The device emitted a bright light, temporarily blinding the agents for a few seconds. It gave Conrad and Miriam just enough time to escape. Under the dim streetlights, Miriam and Conrad fled from the Federation agents, making their way to the back entrance of the courthouse. When they finally got inside, they were out of breath, but they had made it to safety. "This is getting more dangerous by the minute," Miriam said, wiping the sweat from her forehead. Conrad nodded. "We need to be more cautious when the court resumes. The Federation will try every tactic to convict humanity." The key factor that could change the court's outcome was the testimony of witnesses from different galactic races. Conrad and Miriam decided to use the court's recess to track down some alien allies scattered across the galaxy. As they boarded their galactic research ship, their mission was clear: find witnesses from various races. But as soon as they set off, they realized that Federation agents were already tailing them. As their ship entered the interstellar route, enemy ships followed closely behind. Conrad maneuvered the ship while Miriam monitored the systems. "We've got 3 Federation ships on our tail," Miriam said, her voice laced with concern. Conrad remained calm. "We need to lead them into an asteroid field. Our maneuverability is better than theirs there." They sped toward the asteroid belt, with the enemy ships in hot pursuit. Thanks to Conrad's quick reflexes, they weaved through the asteroids, practically dancing between them. One by one, the Federation ships crashed into the asteroids and exploded. Finally, only Conrad and Miriam's ship remained. Their first destination was the planet of the Ryliths, an ancient alien race with telepathic powers. The Ryliths had lived in peace with humans for a long time, and their testimony would be a major asset in court. However, when they arrived on the Rylith planet, they learned that the local population had been threatened by the Federation. The Rylith leader hesitated, fearing retaliation. "You will testify with us in court," Conrad urged the Rylith leader. The leader bowed his head. "We will not abandon you. Humanity has honored its peace with us. We will stand with you." Their next stop was the underwater planet of the Dronas, an alien race that had studied and benefited from human technology. Though the Dronas had commercial agreements with the Federation, they were willing to testify in favor of humanity. As they descended into the ocean, They were nearly caught in a disaster when attacked by deep-sea creatures. Their ship was damaged, but they executed an emergency escape plan and managed to reach the underwater city. When the Drona leader heard about their situation, he agreed to testify. "We will come with you," the leader's voice echoed beneath the cold waters. Finally, Conrad and Miriam's journey led them to the Zonex, a hard-shelled warrior race. The Zonex had a major influence in galactic wars, and despite having fought humans in the past, they were committed to telling the truth in a fair trial. The Zonex leader spoke with a warrior's tone. "We will join you in court and speak the truth." With witnesses from 3 different races, Conrad and Miriam returned to the courthouse. They not only had evidence in their hands, but also the truths that galactic justice would have to face. Despite all of the Federation's dirty tricks, the witnesses were ready to testify that humanity was innocent. The courtroom was filled with judges, witnesses, and spectators from all corners of the galaxy. The top representatives and judges of the Interstellar Federation were seated in the vast domed hall. Conrad and Miriam, the defenders of humanity, stood with the witnesses they had gathered, waiting for the moment that could change the course of the trial. The tension in the room was palpable. Astrael, the head judge, known for his broad wings and golden-hued skin, looked down at the human representatives from the podium and began to speak. "Humanity has been found guilty, but your evidence may alter the court's decision. Make your final statement." Conrad stepped forward, speaking in a calm but resolute voice. "Honorable Judge Astrael and the Galactic Court, we stand here today to protect the future of humanity. The charges are severe, but the evidence we present will prove that these accusations are baseless." Miriam approached and activated 3 different holographic data panels. The entire courtroom focused intently, eager to see the evidence. When Miriam activated the first panel, the air seemed to hum, and suddenly, a vision appeared in the minds of everyone present. It was a telepathic record provided by the Rylith leader. The Ryliths had lived in peace with humanity for many years and had participated in peace negotiations between the humans and the Federation. The telepathic vision showed Federation representatives inviting humans to peaceful negotiations. Miriam's voice became clearer as she explained. "This record shows that the Federation itself sought peaceful relations with humanity. Contrary to the accusations, humanity has always been a civilization in pursuit of peace, not a threat." Some of the judges subtly nodded, clearly understanding the weight of this evidence. Conrad continued. "From the moment the Federation began increasing its pressure on humanity, these peaceful approaches were ignored, and humanity was portrayed as a threat. However, these records reveal the truth." Miriam activated the second hologram. This time, data from the advanced monitoring systems developed in the underwater cities of the Dronars was displayed. The giant screens showed detailed graphs of human ships navigating intergalactic trade routes. This data clearly demonstrated that humans had acted defensively, not aggressively. Miriam began her explanation. "The Dronars have long monitored humanity's presence along the galactic trade routes. This data shows that humans have made no aggressive moves and, in fact, have often avoided Federation forces." One of the judges interjected, asking, "How was this data obtained?" Miriam smiled and replied, "The Dronars' monitoring systems are among the most precise and reliable in the galaxy. Their technological accuracy is undisputed. These records were obtained directly from the Dronars, who observe every movement along the trade routes. The evidence clearly demonstrated that humans had been defensive and provoked by the Federation." A murmur of movement rippled through the audience in the courtroom. Finally, the evidence brought forward on behalf of the Zonexes was the most striking. The Zonexes' records involved the rescue of a leader who had been kidnapped by the Federation. The hologram showed Conrad and Miriam infiltrating a Federation base to rescue the Zonex leader. The Zonex leader himself was present in the courtroom, ready to speak. The Zonex leader, with his powerful, deep voice, approached the stand and said, "The Federation attempted to abduct leaders like myself as part of their plans against humanity. But humans saved me. This is the clearest evidence of the Federation's unjust and inhumane actions. We stand with humanity." The leader's words reverberated throughout the courtroom. The accounts from the Zonex leader and the other witnesses had made it clear that humanity was not guilty but rather the victim of a conspiracy. Conrad seized the silence in the courtroom to make his final statement. This evidence not only proves humanity's innocence but also shows that the Federation itself should be put on trial in this court. Humanity seeks justice and peace, not war. A deep silence settled over the room. Judge Estrell conferred telepathically with the other judges for a brief moment before returning to the podium. The evidence is clear and compelling. The charges against humanity will be re-evaluated. A wave of hope spread through the courtroom. Conrad and Miriam realized the importance of what they had achieved. Now, not only humanity, but galactic justice would be restored. The tension in the courtroom had reached its peak. Although Conrad and Miriam had exposed the Federation's manipulated evidence, their challenge only made things more difficult. The Federation's representatives were not backing down and were finding new ways to increase the pressure on humanity. Ravorn, the Federation's representative, took the floor once again. The smile on his face made it clear that he was about to play his final card to corner humanity. "Honorable Court," Ravorn began in a loud, confident voice, "the humans, in all their defenses, have acted solely in their own self-interest. The evidence and claims they present now are nothing more than stalling tactics. Humanity continues to pose a threat to the galactic community." Silence fell over the courtroom. Ravorn's words were meant to accelerate the verdict against humanity. But Conrad and Miriam had anticipated this final move. They quickly stood and requested permission to speak. Conrad stepped forward toward the court. "Judge Zyril and honorable members of the council, contrary to Ravorn's claims, we have discovered that the Federation has not only manipulated the evidence but also misinterpreted the very laws used to judge humanity. The Federation has distorted legal rulings for their own benefit." Miriam, supporting Conrad's argument, added, "Some of the core laws in the galactic legal system have been misapplied to unjustly punish humanity. We believe these laws must be correctly interpreted, and we have the evidence to prove it." Zyril eyed Conrad and Miriam with suspicion. "You are making a very serious accusation. If what you claim is true, the Federation's credibility will be severely damaged. Can you prove the accuracy of your claim?" Conrad handed over the evidence Miriam had prepared. "Here are the records showing how the Federation has distorted these laws. These laws could be used not only against humanity but to falsely present other species as a threat to the galactic community. This is a danger not just to humanity, but to the entire galaxy." As Zyril examined the evidence, his expression grew more serious. The other council members were murmuring as they reviewed the data on their screens. A heavy silence filled the room. Zyril turned to the Federation's representative, Ravorn, and asked sternly, "Are these claims true, Ravorn? If these laws were indeed misapplied, the Federation's trustworthiness would be gravely damaged." Ravorn hesitated for a moment, but trying to maintain his composure, he replied, "This is simply a misunderstanding. The laws have been applied correctly. The humans are merely trying to exploit legal loopholes to save themselves." Miriam had anticipated this defense. "This is not a loophole, this is a violation of rights. If these laws are misinterpreted, it threatens not only humanity but the stability of the entire galactic order." Zyril glanced back at Ravorn, clearly not satisfied. "We will investigate the validity of these claims. The court has decided to review all evidence and the application of these laws. Until this review is complete, all charges against humanity are hereby suspended." A murmur spread through the courtroom. For the first time, humanity's fate seemed to be shifting. Conrad and Miriam exchanged glances. They were getting closer to victory, but they knew the Federation wouldn't accept this easily. Ravorn's face reflected a mix of anger and shock. The Federation's reputation had been shaken, and humanity had gained a temporary reprieve with the court's decision to re-evaluate the case. But this battle was far from over. Miriam leaned toward Conrad and whispered, "This is just the beginning. We need to uncover the Federation's true motives. There's something deeper behind their harsh stance." Conrad nodded. "You're right. To save humanity, we have to dig deeper. But for now, we've gained a step forward." As the echoes of the court's decision lingered in the air, a new hope for humanity had been born. However, the Federation would stop at nothing to reverse this turn of events. If you're curious about the final outcome of the trial and humanity's fate in the galaxy, please leave a comment. I hope you had a good time. If you liked my story, do not forget to comment and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye, see you in the next story.